When you so like you making films and media products, and when you think of that type of like moral decisions, like what did it kind of come through your minds when you make this particular film? Because like I do know some like homeless people in Tokyo, and when I write about it, I might have to be very careful, and like that's different from like when I write about different type of people. And
I would say that by the time I made the movie, a lot of the people who are either in the movie or our characters are based on them, I knew them very well, like friends. So to me it was like there was no barrier. I mean, when you have friends, everything is open. And I think if you allow, because I consider like morality, there's two different types of morality. There's personal morals, and then there's societal morals. And I think the ones that society imposes upon you are very restricting, and I think they promote like uninteresting art. And I don't know, I'm really interested, like I'm always more excited to see things that are very free. And I think personal morals can be a part of freedom, but I don't think like societal morals. But like, so I don't know how to respond to this really, because I didn't really, it wasn't a thought in my head. I was just trying to tell Ariel's story with her really, and be as truthful to it as possible, because nobody's paying attention to people like this.
right.
Trust me, like I could show you the box office numbers in America. Nobody wants to see these lives in America. Like there's a reason why they're considered invisible people.
Do you mean the box office thing of this film?
In America,
In America.
Yeah, it wasn't like X-Men, you know, like it wasn't a blockbuster. And part of that is because people don't in America want to pay attention to that, because it's like right there. And that's what's interesting, is as the movie goes around the world, people are more kind of interested in like what, and I think as time passes this movie's going to become more and more important. And I didn't realize that when I was making it. I'm realizing it now here in Japan, like seeing this movie about a girl who was homeless, living on the street, and the movie is recreating her personal history with her friends, which is so small, but because we filmed it in such a large fashion, like I don't know, there's something very powerful to that I think as time goes on, more and more people are going to become interested in. You know, this is a very hour talking right now, first thing in the morning, is very lucky, because you know, at the end of the day, I'm going to be very tired.
How many interviews are you doing?
I think today we're doing, 10? Almost.
Almost 10.
Yeah.
Wow. How long is your stay in Tokyo?
I'm only here till Wednesday, but it's very, I don't know. It's good. It's a good time to talk. You know?
With coffee in your hands and
This is vodka.
nice.
I asked them to put it in coffee can,
I
so
thought
it
you were
looks
gonna
like
say that, yeah.
so it looks like I'm like, you know, someone who's drinking coffee, but it's actually vodka.
I was thinking like last night what would be appropriate to like soothe there, so it's not moving. Yeah, I felt the film was like very realistic. I've been to New York and mostly lived in San Diego, California, and that way kids talk and like lots of cursing and actually it was like really funny to say, but like it's been about 3 years after I came back to Japan, but like people don't curse in Japan, so I was just like, "Why people are so nice?" It was really like frustrating. So it was like kind of strange to say, but like it was kind of comforting for me to like hear just people really aggressive
Yeah.
on the streets.
I understand that.
Yeah. 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 And I thought it was like really realistic and just felt like the sound just felt like I was there. So
That was the intention, yeah.
yeah. And how do you feel about this movie won the award in Tokyo International?
I feel great about it. You know, I of course I do. I mean, who isn't happy to win an award? I mean, there are people who don't believe in competition, but I'm not one of those people. But specifically, Japan, like we were very. It was like a personal goal of ours to release this film in Japan because for some reason we felt like the movie would be most understood here. So when we won the award, even though you know the jury of the award is international, it still was a reflection of like coming to Tokyo and winning these awards, and you know, I don't know, it made a lot of sense. Felt appropriate.
Have you been kind of exploring Tokyo or Japan?
Yeah, the first time I came to Japan, I went to Kyoto and for more time than I was in Tokyo, and I was really interested in seeing a lot of the shrines, and the people in Kyoto are very interesting, like especially the foreigners there. And then Tokyo, yeah, last time we were here, we did a lot. We looked at a lot of culture, kind of like strange places and obsessive places, and Mikano Broadway, is it called? No. Nitano Broadway? No. Where's the Broadway? Mikano? No.
Nakano Broadway.
Nakano Broadway. Yeah, I went to Nakano Broadway, sorry, 2 days ago, and that was incredible to see, you know, such devoted obsessions for different types of culture, like in one building in such a big place. And stuff like that, like America is kind of losing. So it's very like refreshing to see, you know, such respect for creation, human creation there.
So I got 5 minutes.
Okay.
I see, like, you know, culture has kind of their own spots in society, and like, you know, like California, New York, everywhere is like different, and like streets and high-end place, and it's different. But this is like streets, but you're gonna do kind of more, you know, like TV and
Maybe.
But like, how do you feel about like bridging like different sections of
America,
you know what I mean?
or the world?
I mean, world also, but also just kind of, there are different people who, maybe you guys do have like the same like driven energy to like wanting to create something new, so maybe it doesn't really matter. But for some people it really matters, like, oh, that guy's rich, or like this guy's like think like this, and like this guy's.
No, as I'm getting older, I'm starting to become more interested in basically that I'm not like adjectives to describe somebody, you know, like, oh, this person's rich and they live in like a condo on like the 50th floor of a high-rise in Chicago. To me, that character can be very interesting. At one point, you know, like maybe I wasn't able to see that. I think my biggest challenge is that the very normal, like the mundane person, I'm not ever going to be really inspired by, and I hope maybe that could change one day, because I think that there's probably, you know, of course everyone is interesting in their own way, and I believe that I can tell an interesting story about anybody, and but I do want to start to make movies outside of New York, because I'm only making movies in New York. And looking at my future, my immediate future, it looks like the next maybe 2 movies are also in New York. So.
Okay. I like New York.
Yeah, well, New York has a lot to offer.
Right.
It's an international city. Kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Is how's like Brooklyn right now?
I don't know. I don't really go to Brooklyn ever. I grew up in Queens and Manhattan, so I never had a relationship with Brooklyn. But Brooklyn is very like, it's very consumable right now. Like it's like a real entity, and that's cool. I think it's interesting when like a small, I mean, it's just in New York City, it's just looking for a new place to make hip, and Brooklyn is very hip, and you can see it in a reflection of the rent is now becoming very expensive to live in Brooklyn.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna ask you one kind of politically correct question. How do you feel about so Japan's gonna have Olympic in 2020, and the people that I know, like some people from the streets there, kind of rebelling against the Olympic is coming to Tokyo, and because that's gonna bring probably the wave of redevelopment and gentrification. So they're gonna get evicted from the parks and the places they live and where their communities are at. So how do you feel about things like that?
I mean,
the city kind of evicting homeless people and things like that.
Yeah, I think change is always good, and like in New York, people are always getting really depressed, and it's sad when places that are for the people get developed, but all it means is a new place is gonna come about, so it's just I'm not nostalgic when it comes to that. Transformer has me in the new Atani Hotel, and this hotel was built for the Olympics, and the last Olympics, the one in '64, I think, and I love the building. I think it's a beautiful building, and it looks like the future, and you're gonna get more futuristic, but it just means another neighborhood is gonna come about. I'm more concerned with natural disasters for Japan than
like earthquake.
Yeah, of course. That last one was so scary. I remember in America, it was like I was talking to my friend who lives here, and she was showing me videos, and it was like I felt like I was watching a movie. It was really, it was scary, because this really is such a rare piece of the earth. The islands of Japan are so unique, and it's really in the middle of its islands,
right.
So it's kind of scary.
Right.
So I'm more concerned about that. I mean, all over the planet, I'm concerned about climate change and how things are happening on a more dramatic level. But
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You come across lots of people who probably tell interesting stories in northeast Japan.
Oh, yeah.
I think, their memories are interesting, how some of them didn't really escape after the disaster. It was interesting because they've been fishermen and farmers, so they're very have connection, their own way of connecting with the
land
yeah,
and
of
things. Course.
So that was something that I didn't really think of it till I hear what they say, because especially that a nuclear disaster happens, so
Yeah, no, Fukushima's.
why wouldn't you just escape? But
Yeah.
they're no, it's okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Living legend. 4K camera? That's a 4K camera?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, so small. Sony. Sony's the best for video cameras. We made this movie on Sony.